Hello Curious Wanderers, it's me Mia and welcome to my video. So you guys get a bit of a 4-in-1 this time because I wanted to make an artwork to specifically go in a frame that I had bought. Long story short, so it had like 4 smaller spots for images, and I thought it'd be really cool to do a 4 seasons type of imagery. But I didn't, instead of going with like, I don't know, beaches and fall trees and such, I decided to have a bit of an animal theme, just for my personal enjoyment. So what I decided to go with, I wanted to have a good variety, so I went with the bunnies for spring, the jellyfish for summer, the owl is for autumn, and the fox is for winter. I wanted to have a good variety of animals, like we have an aquatic animal, an avian animal, a predator and a prey animal. So I thought it made like a pretty good image, like all together like that. And then each of them are in their season of strength, I suppose. In my view, like I'm not some sort of scientific person or anything, so it's more like how I feel about it. So yeah, so what I ended up doing is cutting the paper to the size that I wanted, and then I taped all 4 of them here while trying to keep them in frame. And then I worked on all of them basically at the same time. So as I'm like putting down color for one, while I want that to dry, I go on to the next. I also I wanted to try to put the water not as heavily, like to be a little more light-handed. So I worked in like several layers instead of doing like more intense layers like I usually do, just because I'm still wanting to experiment, right? So I just wanted to try different things. So yeah, I wanted to try a lighter touch and see what it would be to make an image a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? Soft? Since I usually do very vivid, like in-your-face, bam colors, I wanted to try something a little gentle, you know, like a little more smooth or poetic. Probably due to influence from an art day that I had with one of my friends. It's not on camera, but every once in a while we like to get together and just paint together. And we both paint in extremely different ways. Like, just to give you an example, you know how I always complain that my paper curls and I have to tape down my paper, and even taping down my paper will still curl. She doesn't even need to tape down her paper. She has such a gentle touch that like like she paints in like the sketchbook, like she has a sketchbook of watercolor paper, and the paper doesn't even curl because she's that light with the touch. And I'm just so impressed by it that I was just like, since these are such tiny little images, maybe I could, you know, try to mimic her a little bit by going with a lighter touch, just to see what it would give with my style of painting. Kind of testing out different techniques in the end, because I might have mentioned it before, but I don't like to stick to always doing the same things. So I've been watercoloring a lot. I apologize for all these watercoloring videos, but since I'm still really new to the YouTube thing, I find that watercolor is easier to film. Honestly, I'm still figuring out how to kind of set myself up to be able to film a sculpture, because with the watercoloring I kind of have I'm just using my phone camera, nothing special, but I have it set up like it kind of in a permanent way like this, where it's like an above view. But with a sculpture being 3-dimensional, I can't just put the you would just see the top of the sculpture as I'm working on it. Might not be very interesting, so I have to kind of I have to figure out a way to film it. So that is something I'm working on. So hopefully soon, you'll be able to see some sculpting videos as well. But for now, I do acknowledge that there's been a lot of watercolored videos. But worry not, this is not a watercolor channel. It is an art in general channel. I just happen to be doing a lot of watercolor right now. But yeah, especially since watercolor is still new, I kind of want to add to my repertoire, I suppose, of images, like some watercolor images. And I'm having a lot of fun with it because when you're doing something new, it's really exciting. So just doing a lot of this. I know I did the same thing when I learned techniques for making molds and sculpture. I just made like a whole bunch of them. So that's also a contributor. But yeah. So returning to this piece, so I decided to work with a lighter touch, and I was trying to tell myself, like that I wanted to try a more pastel-y look, but somehow I'm unable to let myself do that. Like I think I love the look of it, but every time I go to do something more pastel-y, I tend to I tend to lose focus at some point, and then I go, but it needs more contrast, and then the colors are not bright enough, and yeah. So I did go. I did intensify the colors because it's beyond me, but it is much more gentle than my usual style. So it is nice. It is a bit hard. I guess the advantage to the way I usually paint is that it's a little easier to see on camera. I find that because this is more pale, it doesn't film as nicely. So, and it definitely didn't want to photograph nicely either. But in person, this piece is very nice and much more even. I find here the lighting is a little more bright at the top than the bottom, and I feel like it causes the top to look paler than the bottom. So I find spring and summer look a little washed out lighting wise in the image, but yeah. So I decided, since I didn't want to oversaturate the colors, but I still kind of felt like I wanted to add a bit of contour, like a bit of contrast, I went with the watercolor pencils. I contemplated like doing actual line art and making this a little bit more, what am I thinking of? Kind of like a children's picture book or something, like that kind of style. But I decided against it because I really like, I like suggesting the lines on watercolor. So I did give it a bit of line art, just I didn't want it to be as harsh, like I didn't want the harsh black line. So this time around I decided to basically do the line art with similar colors to what the piece that I'm, like the animal that I'm drawing has, just to give it a little more definition without really taking away from the soft look that I was trying to go for. But yeah, I think it turned out really good, honestly. I do prefer it in person, but here I'm just adding a little bit of highlight to the eyes, because otherwise, like, if you don't add a little bit of highlight, I feel like the eyes don't look like they're looking in a specific direction. And yeah. So, we're getting towards the end of the video here. What I'm going to be doing is just showing them to you a little closer up, but at the end you're going to be able to see a photograph of each picture. Oh yeah, I got scared here. I thought I had spilled my watercolor onto my painting, and I was like, really? But yeah, so here's a closer look. Again, I'd like to remind you guys, this piece is for sale along with a lot of other pieces, so check out my Facebook page. As you would expect, it's Facebook/MiaJensArt. So go check it out. The link is in the description below. Thank you for watching, guys, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos. Have a good one.